Welcome to Borderline, a perspective on global stories that are shaping our world. In today's episode, we will grapple with what happened in the air battle between India and Pakistan. The question many have been asking is whether the Pakistani F-16 was downed. Balakot airstrikes was India's answer to the 40 soldiers that were killed in Pulwama. The airstrikes were carried out as both countries put their air force in full firefight mode. All planes were stationed and were in a completely ready-to-go war mode. Now the main question is, was the F-16 gunned down or not? There is electronic evidence that was revealed by the Indian Air Force that the plane dropped out of the sky at a speed that they believe was a hit. The Indian Air Force also said that the radio of the F-16 went dead, telling India that they had successfully downed the aircraft. The former chief of the Indian Air Force, A.Y. Tipnis, said that it was high time that India acted the way it did by bombing targets inside Pakistan.
This is an issue, which is seen to be on a more diplomatic scale than anything. The Air Force certainly had the capability to hit many more targets with as much, if not more, harm. But what you're talking in terms of, the world opinion is with us. They feel we have every right to take the action that we have taken, yet we have shown restraint. We have hit only the Jaish-e-Mohammed training camps, and we have not gone anything beyond that. So it's a great achievement over here. We have done it with great accuracy. There has been no collateral damage, no damage to civilian property. That means people other than those who are involved in these terrorist activities. So I think it's a great plus.
So now let's look at the background of what has unfolded here. The tension between India and Pakistan has been rising over the years. The Jaish-e-Mohammed, a Pakistan-based terrorist outfit, hit on Indian soldiers in Pulwama. India responded by sending in warplanes to strike what India called a terror camp in Balakot. Pakistan claimed that there was a seminary there, and the Indian Air Force never struck the school. It accused India for trespassing into Pakistani territory. But now an Italian journalist, Francesca Marino, has come out with a story. The strike may have killed as many as 170 terrorists. Pakistan's foreign minister, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, accused India for violation of the line of control.
हमने दुनिया को हम मुत्तले करते रहे कि ये हरकत हो सकती है, लेकिन उन्होंने आज पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ जहरियत की है. नंबर एक, ये लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल की वायलेशन है. इसको मैं लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल की वायलेशन तस्वर करता हूं, और पाकिस्तान एक मुनासिब जवाब का हक और राइट टू सेल्फ डिफेंस रखता है.
The Indian pressure on the line of control, or LOC as it's called, continued to mount. The warplanes did sorties on the LOC, both from the Indian side and the Pakistani side. The tensions were mounting and people were getting ready for a full-scale battle to unfold. The day when India's MiG-21 crashed and the pilot was captured, the story unfolded as we're going to tell you now. We've spoken to multiple people involved on both sides. Pakistan's F-16s were flying right next to the LOC, and so were India's MiGs, Mirages and Sukhois. The pilots of both countries were constantly crisscrossing into each other's territories. There is an unsaid rule that breach of 10 kilometers inside the enemy's territory will be overlooked. The MiG that was flown by Wing Commander Abhinandan Vardhaman went into Pakistani territory after securing a lock on the Pakistani F-16. He entered Pakistan airspace. The Indian air controller could hear the Pakistani controller converse with the F-16, that they too had a lock on Abhinandan's MiG and was asking for permission to take a hit. The Pakistan controller informed the pilot of the F-16 that the rules of engagement had changed. They decided to not take a hit till 20 kilometers when an enemy aircraft enters their airspace. On hearing this information, the Indian controller asked Abhinandan to return, but Abhinandan continued his journey into Pakistani territory. Many in the intelligence community say that it is possible that Abhinandan did not hear the orders over the radio channel because there was a lot of noise. Since the audio frequencies of both countries are so compromised that there is a possibility that the orders get lost. The MiG and the F-16s went into a dogfight. Pakistan had an upper hand, as there were multiple F-16s in the air. In addition to that, the MiG is incapable of the maneuvers an F-16 can perform. The radar system, the weaponry on the F-16 cannot be compared with that of the MiG. The MiG was finally downed, and that's when everything came to a standstill. In a tweet, the Pakistani government stated, "There is only one pilot under Pakistan Army's custody, Wing Commander Abhinandan, and is being treated as per norms of military ethics." Pakistan's President Imran Khan used this opportunity and offered the POW back to India as a friendly gesture.
हिंदुस्तान का पायलट हमने पकड़ा हुआ है हम एज ए पीस जेस्चर हम उनको उसको कल रिहा करने लगे हैं हिंदुस्तान
Soon after the incident, India started to push the US to take action against Pakistan. India asserted that the F-16s were meant to help fight terrorism and not to be used against India, and those were the usage preconditions. From an American perspective, the worry was whether their F-16 was downed by a MiG. That would mean that the world would consider their F-16 tech poor. The US asked for an inspection. Since these planes were provided to Pakistan at heavily discounted prices for fighting the Taliban, Pakistan had to agree. The US investigators said that they had physically gone on the ground and counted the F-16s and verified their identification number. They said none of the F-16s were missing. Then the theory came out that Pakistan had bought additional F-16s from Jordan. Pakistan does have additional 10 F-16s that they got from Jordan, but those were counted as well by the US team. But India was certain that they had downed the F-16. It will be years before we hear the complete story. On the war front, the situation between the two nuclear-armed neighbors continues to be tense. But we have to remember that both these countries are great markets for weapon sales. India and Pakistan have very little to show as indigenous development of advanced weaponry. Though both have made advances, Pakistan jointly develops the JF-17 fighter with the Chinese. The Indians have also been manufacturing the Sukhoi 30 with the Russians. India is bound to spend tens of billions of dollars in buying weapons in the next few years. So does Pakistan continue pumping money into defense buys. The final takeaway from this fiasco is that globally, people weren't trusting either side. There were only two realities that had video proof that people were looking at. The first was the dead bodies of Indian soldiers in Pulwama, and the second one being the captured Indian fighter, pilot Abhinandan. He was returned with all the fanfare, and world's eyes were set on it. This is Borderline. Please watch out for our podcast as we keep bringing you updates in global stories that impact you. You may live anywhere, but each of these stories impacts you sooner or later.